Hi there, it's Chris Kerr. I got yet another content video for you, talking this time about PR, public relations, and what that can really do for you and your business. Everybody talks about, let me backtrack a little bit and explain something. Do you see all those profiles on LinkedIn and Facebook with a picture as seen on CBS and ABC and Fox and all that kind of stuff? I am vehemently opposed to those. Apart from the fact that however that managed to get promulgated across the internet, and I've done the research and I know what the background is. Apart from that, it's backfired. It has really backfired. When you have thousands and thousands of profiles proliferating all over the internet with those icons next to them, it devalues the whole point of having them in the first place. If everybody has been quoted on CBS and NBC and whatnot, then nothing is special. There's no extra value to it. So I've never been keen on that side of it. I understand what people think it means, but when you're looking at it from the other side of the fence, it doesn't mean what you think it means. So on a book, maybe. On something else, maybe. On your social profiles, virtually never. Just to put that in perspective. It doesn't help. But what I can tell you is that when you do get interviewed by radio shows, TV stations, journalists, other media, bloggers, influence marketers, when you get interviewed for any of these kinds of, large volume audiences, now you have a much bigger opportunity for your business. I'm going to tell you a little story about one of the clients that was brought to us and the impact of what PR did for and to him. So he had a company that made a specific kind of a product. It's a clothing company, and it was not exactly a fad product, but it's a product that a niche portion of the market really appreciates. It takes them back to their childhood. Lots of things that go with that. Pardon me. And this company had initially paid quite a bit of money to PR firms and had managed to get celebrity endorsements for them, had managed to be in the news. The owner of the company managed to get on, I forget whether it was Leno or Carson, but one of them. And that drove an awful lot of traffic to their website. I think they may have even managed to get on Oprah because it was that kind of a unique thing. And with that exposure, this guy's sales went up to $3.5–4 million, at one point up to $7 million a year, right steady on its own. Then he decided he didn't need his PR company anymore, and he let them go. And his sales dropped in half. Instead of hiring the PR company back, he decided he was going to cut some staff and he was going to change his website, which undid pretty much all of his SEO because he scrapped the website and built it from scratch. Nothing was the same. And his sales dropped in half again. Within 3 or 4 years, he was knocking on bankruptcy's door. Really that close. Pardon me. So, with that said, the value of PR in his case went from $7 million a year to $500,000 a year in sales. And $500,000, when you're only making a small percentage of profit, doesn't cover everybody's salaries and it doesn't cover everybody's bills. Because you have product cost that comes out of that, you have shipping cost, you have cost of doing business. When you put that context on it, basically you're talking about $6.5 to $7 million worth of value that PR alone really defined for him. It drove his market, drove his particular product. What can it do for you? I mean, he's got something that is so, I don't want to say it's bizarre, but it's unique on its own. There aren't a whole lot of companies in that space because there isn't a wide enough market for everybody in that space to want it. He's expanded into other things, yada, 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 but the reality is, no matter how competitive that little niche is, he didn't just dominate it, he crushed it with PR. So when it comes to your business, no matter how competitive or niche it may be, there may be a way of presenting that in terms of news or media or stories or endorsements or whatnot, that completely changes the playing field for you and sets you up as the dominant player in that playing field. So while PR may sound like this esoteric thing, the reality is it's engaging the distance between you and your audience. And the middle person between that is the journalist or media person who you have to broker a deal with in order to get your content on air. That's not to say you're going to go do sales pitches. That's not to say you're going to go do presentations. You're not doing any of that stuff. You're drawing attention to your products by drawing attention to yourself and to your story and the thing that's important to your audience to hear. So PR then falls onto an area of work that a lot of business people just don't have the time or interest to do. And yet the difference, as I gave you just that one example, could be $7 million. It could be, in that case, that's 14 or 15 times the sales volume that you're doing currently. If that's not worth even talking about, then I think we got to ask why you're in business. And I'm not meaning that facetiously, I'm not meaning that to be offensive. I'm meaning that to really challenge you to say, if growing your business by 14 times isn't something that you see as an enormous value and potential opportunity for you, why not? Why is that not valuable to you? And there are reasons, there's some valid reasons, but a lot of people, the biggest reason is fear. You're scared of it. You don't know how you're going to manage the growth. You're not sure it's going to happen. You don't know what the value of it is. You don't know what the ROI is, the return on an investment. And a lot of PR companies do a lot of work where there's practically no return on investment. So the horror stories are out there, and it makes a lot of sense why companies can be gun-shy. But being gun-shy is very different than being realistic about your opportunities and what you're going to do strategically to give yourself better odds of that kind of success. So while you take that moment to consider what the value of PR is for your company, I'm now going to take a moment to tell you how to make it valuable to your company. The truth is, every business, I don't care if it's a business making ratchets, I don't care if it's a farm, I don't care if it's a knitting collective, I don't care if it's a bottling company that hasn't changed in 20 years. Every business has newsworthy stories almost every day. Let me go through and concoct some for you just on that last list of examples. So, the bottling company. If you've been running a bottling company for 20 years, how many of your staff have stayed with you the whole time? If the answer is a small number, then those people should be celebrated. If the answer is a big number, the fact that you have a big number of people who stayed with you for 20 years should be celebrated. Those are two real stories that real business people really want to know about. If you are in a business of, what else did I talk about? A knitting collective. What's the stories of the knitters? What's the background here? How productive are they? Where do the supplies come from? Are there any specific styles that are important to this group? Why? How do people become part of the collective? How does the collective make money for the individuals? Who are your big client bases? These are kind of interesting stories. They're the kind of things you'd expect to see on a reality TV show. Not Knitters Gone Wild, but kind of like American Pickers. Something that's kind of interesting about that particular niche. Are they used for interior decor? Are they used for family gifts? What's the primary reason why people use this collective to do what they do? And if you're talking about something a little more mainstream, you're talking about a fire hydrant company. Okay. One of the big issues that has come up with fire hydrants is the fact that people are deliberately undermining the water pressure. But there's no gauge on most fire hydrants to show what the water pressure is. Wouldn't it be a lot easier for fire companies to pull up to a hydrant, take a look at a gauge, and see what that is? If your company makes those fire hydrants and gauges, boom, there's a news story. And fire departments across the country and civil engineers and city reps and safety reps and fire planners, all of these people would find that really interesting news, and they're the bulk of your clients. So you can't tell me that there isn't real news that you guys could be talking about at any given time. Pardon me. It doesn't matter what your company is. It doesn't matter what your nonprofit is. There's a reason virtually every week to have a conversation that would result in newsworthy content. I'll give you an example. You could be having an interview every single week with different radio stations, different hosts, different TV networks, different journalists on different things that your company is doing. Each one of those shows, each one of those interviews is then newsworthy content for PR purposes. So building press releases can be as simple as getting interviewed. And getting interviewed can be as simple as going to Blog Talk Radio and getting a list of hosts that talk about a relatively tangential subject that you can go have them discuss whatever's new with you, whatever's new with your company. Is your company growing? Is it shrinking? What's the market look like? One 5-minute interview could be 3 press releases, before, during, and after. That's a lot of potential interest that you can capture for your business. And those were kind of bland examples. If you're a coach, a business coach, you could be talking about one of your clients. And now you've got a double whammy, right? Not only are you benefiting by being the guru that helped them, but you're helping your client even more with that press release. Pardon me. And if you have a every week release of another client that you've helped out and made spectacular results with, that becomes a story on its own. And you catch more interest with those as well. So you can have an ongoing stream of content from press releases every single week without even batting an eye. All you have to do is make sure that something about your business is newsworthy. And a lot of that has to do with interpreting what you do so that you get the newsworthy out of what you do every day. Obviously, we can help with that. I've been doing it for years. I can certainly help any business get a better relationship with its audience and with news media and whatnot. I can do interview booking. I can do a bunch of other things to help your business get some spotlight and get some more attention, which can build up a bigger audience and build up a bigger rapport with that audience and the other companies involved, thereby bringing you more sales. That's obviously the ultimate goal, but even the attention will help retain individual customers, will help diffuse other situations, will help your SEO, will help your market standing, market share evaluation. A lot of those things, just standard results of good public relations. We can definitely help with that. So if you have any questions at all about PR or about kind of getting your company a little more attention, please don't hesitate to call. We've got some great deals on. Again, this is our anniversary week. So by end of day Sunday, that's the end of the deals. This is on, at the very least, to help us celebrate our anniversary for the company. We opened Reyactive in 2010. It's been 6 years. It's an important milestone for us, and we hope that it's an important opportunity for you to make those decisions to take your company that extra step further. Rather than sit and wait and ponder whether or not this is the right time, we're putting incentives in place to make sure it's the right time, to give you that opportunity. So please take that time, pick up the phone, 623-252-4489. See if this is the right move for you. That's the worst case that can happen. You call, find out, hey, Not right for us at the moment, maybe down the road, but at least give yourself the chance to make such a big change in your business, such a big change in your hiring, such a big change in your team, such a big change in the morale of your company, the spotlight, the focus, the effort. All of that can be dramatically amplified with good PR. And I'd be happy to help in any way I can. We've got fantastic distribution tools. We have good relationships with a lot of national and international media. We're glad to help in any way we can. 623-252-4489. Take the chance, pick up the phone. You got 3 days to take advantage of some great deals, and I look forward to giving you every reason to want us to be part of your family, part of your business, part of your results. Thanks a whole bunch. Cheers.